Now we're going to look at the exponential regression using the graphing calculator. So we are on the back of our, zoom out some here, the back of our chart. So curve of best fit is the same thing as exponential regression because the exponential equation gives us a curve on the graph. So it's kind of the same thing. So what we're going to do is enter the points just like we did up here with the stat, edit, and fill in list 1 and list 2. And then when we go to find the curve of best fit, the only thing that's different is that we need to look for the exponential regression, which was 0, instead of the linear regression, which was the 4 on the calculator. So that's the only change. We're still going to do the vars, the y vars 1, 1, because that gets the information in the table so that we can make predictions. So going to the calculator. So I need to go to stat. I want to clear my list, which is 4. I want to clear list 1 and list 2. So that's done. So now I'm going to enter points. So stat, I need to edit my list to enter the points. And if you remember, sometimes we ran into some issues where the dates didn't work. That was some of the later questions. So if you're worried about it, we could just call, instead of doing 1970, we could call that a 0. We could call 1971 1, 1973 3, 1974 would be 4, and 1975 would be 5. So we can do that, and then that way also when we go to look at the chart, our numbers should be right there since we just did a number with 6. All right, in 1970, the population was 72. In 1971, it was 160. Then it was 317, 1195 in 74, and 2500 in 75. So the question on number 10 says to find the curve of best fit. So we want to stat, calc. You can either scroll down to 0 or you can just press 0. Press enter. Our x's we put in list 1s, our y's we put in list 2s, so that's fine. We want to store the equation though, and this is where we're going to press vars, y vars 1 and 1. And then we'll go down to calculate, and it's going to think for a second, and then it's going to give us the equation. So the curve of best fit, because it's an exponential curve, is a times b to the x. So for this number 10 question, y equals, the a is 68.45, the b is 1.98 to the x. So you can see that this is a growth because this is larger than 1. And it's growing by 98% because this would be 198% if we were to make that into percents. Now we're going to predict the population in 1978. So when we make predictions, we use the table. So I'm going to go second table, and here's my table of values. Now, it says 1978, so if you remember, we used the last digit as our year. So for 1978, I want the population in 8 on the chart, which is 16,266. So I'm going to say the population in 1978 is 16,266. So that answers your population question. If you want to see the graph, you can. It's not necessary. You can finish the problem without.